I want you to answer a couple of questions. You can pull up your phones and join the Slido.com. We have a couple of survey questions that would be great for you to answer. So the first question is, if you forget your phone at home, how big does your panic become from a scale of 1 to 5? 1 is no panic at all, and 5, I completely panic. Interesting. So we see that number 4, that's pretty high, I guess. Maybe not total panic, but a little bit less. Great. How about the next question? Okay, so if you feel panic, is it more related to work or private life? 1, only work, and up to 5, or 5, only private? Up to 5. And it could be somewhere in between as well. Interesting. So like a mixture of both work and private. Okay, next question. How many times do you pick up your phone during the day? So one option is 40 to 50, 50 plus. It could be 1 to 10, it could be 20 to 30, 30 to 40. So 50 plus is a winner. 50 plus times. And it's plus. Can be 200. Actually, there are some studies showing that we pick up our phones 150 to 300 times per day. That is the actual statistic. Okay, so was that the questions? Are we ready? Yeah? So let's see if this works. If you connect my presentation. No? Okay, so let's start. So my name is Patrik Wincent, and I'm a therapist stationed in Stockholm. And I'm also a writer. I've been written, I think it's 5 or 6 books. 6 books if you include some audio things that I've done. But what I do is I specialize in digital, internet addiction, mobile phone addiction, video gaming addiction, the psychology behind technology. So I'm a high-tech guy. I love technology. My whole home is based on Apple ecosystem. I talk to Siri a lot. That's my, second wife. So I love technology. But the thing is that we are now diving into technology the last 12 years without even asking how it can affect, because it's been 3 things that has actually revolutionized how we act, interact, how we perceive reality. Actually, first thing is the World Wide Web, right? 1991 it came, and then social media 12 years ago, and also multi-touch technology, which was Steve Jobs who made it, commercialized. He didn't invent it, but he made it commercialized. And multi-touch technology is that you can press on your screen and you can have access to the world, which is very, very good in many ways. And we also seen today how technology can benefit and make it efficient and help people all over the world, which is a good thing. So we need to look at technology and how to maximize it, and also The other side is to look at technology and to minimize the risks. So what I am going to talk to you about is the risks. There's also a flip side of technology and how fast we enhance over maybe 10 or 15 years, the last 10 or 15 years. So I would like everybody to pull up their phones. And I want you to give the phones to someone you don't know. And don't worry, you'll get your phones back, I promise you. So just challenge yourself and give it to a person you don't know, and that person will not leave the room. Don't worry, you'll get your phone back. It's an exercise. So when you have received your stranger phones, now pull it in your pocket or in your bag or in your coat so it's not visible. Again, you're gonna get your phone back. Now, take a deep breath. Are we ready to continue? Hopefully, yeah? So what I'm talking about is digital health versus digital sickness, the psychology behind technology. And we're going to start off with the definition. What are the challenges that we're seeing today? Is it a difference between men and women? Or how does it look like in the Nordic countries or Europe? Or is it a culture thing? What type of habits do we have? And also identify what type of warning signals if we expose ourselves in front of too much technology. And also act and the solution. Maybe I can also throw you some tips and pointers of how we can, interact with technology in a healthy way. So the definition phase. I want you to take a look at some pictures and just experience what you feel and how you react with maybe a feeling or one word or a sentence afterwards. Let's just look at the pictures. This is obviously at work. Maybe some recognize, maybe some don't. How about this? In a conference. Maybe sleeping with your technology. How about socializing? How about this? How about this? Different generations. So, anyone, what came up for you with just a feeling, a word, a sentence? Anyone? What? Frustration. If you would continue that sentence, what would it be? Frustration because not living your life? Not living in your real life? Okay, yeah. Anyone else? Difficulty to focus? Okay, yeah. Some? Huh? Losing connection, what is there? And you were saying? The effectivity goes down. What? Okay. There you go. So we will talk about this for sure. What represent the pictures. But, it is what it is. It's an evolution. Technology is amazing. I love the VR reality. I also love how because I'm worst of finding things, so I need the GPS system. I'm terrible. But what I can do now is just pull my phone on the side and I can have Siri guide me. So it's many benefits. But actually, we must think about technology and how it have impacted us. Because technology goes maybe 80%, 90% every year forward, while the humans doesn't go the same pace. We are the same. Since the Stone Age, we have the same body, we have the same nervous system, we have the same brain. We, as humans, cannot keep up. So it's not anything that surprises us that technology and humans sometimes can collapse, can collide. And we're going to talk about what that is. So in my practice, because I work with a lot of teenagers and young adults as well as companies, we're working with digital stress. When it becomes younger people, it could be video gaming addiction, and people that are not motivated. They don't want to do anything because they have a brain now that is used to instant gratification. The thing about our brain, it is very adaptable. It's plastic, so it can adapt. But we have a brain because of that stimulus of video, that information flow that we get all the time. We have now a brain that is called instant gratification. We want everything shorter. It has to go fast, or else I lose interest. So I deal with a lot of people that doesn't want to do anything except just being in their room. They don't want to go to school, they don't want to go to work, and they also have relation problem. I actually had one client that called us because he was at the railway station and he actually fell down in the railways because he was so absorbed because of the mobile phone, because he couldn't be, present. So actually 25% of every car accident is based on a mobile phone, for instance. Like I said, we pick up our phone 150 to 300 times per day. So why is it that we do that? So trend, 64% of all phone users uses their phone straight after they're waking up in the morning. Who can relate? Hands up. Yeah, me too. I used to do it because you use it as an alarm clock, right? It's efficient. So I did that. I used it as an alarm clock, but I was still stressed because the notifications and the light and the vibration. But I could turn it off, flight mode, easy, and still the alarm clock will work as clockwork in the morning. But when I pick up the phone, I turn off the clock, I turn off the flight mode. Well, I posted a picture yesterday at Instagram. I just gotta check it out. And then I look in Facebook, 54 comments, 124 likes. I gotta see who did that. And actually, I had a colleague that emailed me from work. So basically, I'm working in bed. I don't put even my feet on the ground. I have not gone to the toilet. I have not made my breakfast. I'm still in my bed working, 7 o'clock in the morning. And it made me stressed. So I didn't do that anymore. So I actually went to a boutique, bought an old school watch with batteries, and I left my phone in a different room. And my body relaxed a lot. So that's my first tip for the day. So anxiety with technology, some people actually feels a certain anxiety that is associated with technology. Every brain scientist can confirm that every time we get an SMS or vibration or a notification that pops up, we get stress hormones in our body, adrenaline as well as cortisol. Because of that, so we as humans are now starting to react like cats. You know when a cat suddenly hears something or sees something, it jumps. We, with our nervous system, are jumping a little bit all the time. And that causes some sort of a stress as well. And also the smartphone, if we actually think about it, it has a certain, a design in itself that makes us wanting to pop it up all the time. It's like a miniature. It's like a slot machine, always think, something new is happening. And also humans has a primitive instinct of always wanting to have control of their surroundings. It's a primitive instinct which we've had since the Stone Age. But in the Stone Age, we had to have that control to avoid danger. We don't have that same type of problem today. But if we have this mobile device that gives us that type of control, because let's face it, our mobile phones contains everything, our life, then we also have a tendency to wanting to pick it up all the time. That's the nature of it. And also because of technology and how we advances all the time, there are, new terms and words popping up. Say, for instance, something called phantom vibration syndrome. Can anyone guess what that means? The phantom vibration syndrome. Anyone? Well, you can guess. No? You don't know? Well, it's a delusional thing that we think it vibrates in our pockets, even though we don't have our phones in our pockets. That is called the phantom vibration syndrome. Has anyone felt that? Yeah? Yeah, me too. So, also something that is new is something that is called the Google effect. Everybody knows what Google is. Google is amazing. You can get every information all the time. You just have to pick up the phone and Google, and there you go. You don't have to save something in your brain, right? Google has become our external brain. We can take the shortcut. But the Google effect, if you think about it, and if you ask some sort of scientist, they will say that we are now forgetting stuff. We are not integrating information in the same way because we don't use certain parts of the brain as much as we did. Because Google has now become our external brain. So that is what is called Google effect. Do you remember back in the days when all the cab drivers knew every address in the whole city? Who remembers their first phone number? You know, when we had the phones on the wall? Yeah, me too. So that is the long-term memory that is activated. Today is short-term memory. It's not good or bad. It's just something that we need to kind of look at, that, we're evolving. It's evolution. And sometimes humanity having a hard time catching up. But eventually in the future, we will evolve a lot because of technology. We have something that is called cyber slacking. Cyber slacking is a big study that has been made, that they now are seeing that an employee uses 1.5 up to 2 hours per day cyber slacking, which means watching entertainment, gaming, social media, or playing video games every day at work. That's an average, the number. In this quite big study, that is called cyber slacking. And what is based on that is that we now have an attention economy that is based on stealing your attention. That's what it's all about. Before it was television advertisement. Now it's on social media. And it can be nice videos or whatever to draw your attention. So, to explain it thoroughly, it's all about psychology to hook you. Say, for instance, I use this Facebook, which I do. I use Messenger to, perhaps I have Kalle, who I will mail. That's my main purpose. So I go in on Facebook, I go into Messenger, I will email, I will send a message to Kalle, but suddenly on the timeline, I see a cat video. And I love these cat videos. So I got to see this cat video. So I'm watching this cat video, and then in the end, I see it's a part 2. I got to see cat video number 2, and then there's number 3, and then after 55 minutes, I find myself at a Greenpeace site. I have no clue why I'm there. It's like I'm being hypnotized. I'm coming out of this coma. I was like, wait. My intention was that I was going to email Kalle, but now I'm at some sort of Greenpeace site. But the funny thing is that in my body, I feel very content. It feels good. It's no problem because it feels good, because I feel stimulated. But when it comes to content, I have no idea what I've been watching. So that kind of gives you a typical way of showing you how you can be hijacked of something that you didn't, want to do at first hand, but you did. So time is money, and of course, everybody can do what they want, but what do you and how do you want to spend your time? So I want you all to just close your eyes and listen and just register what it is that you hear and how your body feels when you hear it. Okay, so now you can open your eyes. How many recognize these sounds? Yeah? How many felt when these sounds came like, oh, I miss these sounds? They're so great. Did someone kind of felt a little bit stressed? Yeah? Someone enjoys the sounds? Okay. Well, we're going to talk about it. We have a description. I want to show you 3 pictures. And what does these 3 pictures have in common? First of all, we have Facebook, we have our mobile phones, and we have slot machines. What does these 3 things have in common? What do you think? Yeah. I was supposed to talk about that. Now you kind of spoil it, but it's a good pointer. That's it. That's one of the things for sure. Thank you. Who else? Okay, so these 3 things have in common is that it releases something called dopamine. It's a hormone that goes from the reward center of the brain that goes out to your body, and it gives you a nice warm feeling. You feel a little bit happy. And there's nothing wrong with dopamine. It's natural. We get it when we hug somebody, when we see a movie, when we train, when we eat some good food. This is what gives us dopamine. But what we need to do is kind of emphasize when it's normal releases of dopamine and when it's a lot of dopamine. So say, for instance, also 2 differences. One that is substance-based and one where there's only a behavior. So let's go with the substance. You eat something, you drink something, you inject something, you smoke something. Say, for instance, narcotics. If you take cocaine, you get 1,000% release of dopamine. You take alcohol, you get 600% release of dopamine. You get a little high, especially with cocaine, okay? And then you also have video gaming and also social media and interaction with our technology that actually shows us a release of dopamine, accordingly 150, sometimes up to 200% release dopamine. So it makes you feel good. It's not the same as a cocaine high, for sure, but it stimulates the same thing. So the difference is, the substance is something you can take in your body, and it changes how you feel. But the behavior is something different, right? Because I can't eat my mobile phone. I don't eat video game, you know? So what is the difference? So let's say you get a surprise that you did not expect. A surprise that just came out of the blue. An unexpected surprise. Say, for instance, I have a chewing ball machine. I put down a quarter, I turn the handle, I get a chewing ball. No surprise, because I paid for it, so I want my chewing ball. But if I put down a quarter, I turn the handle, I get 2 chewing balls. Now, that was a surprise. I just expected 1, but now I got 2. So what happens? Something happens in my brain, the reward center. It releases dopamine because of that unexpected surprise, and I will get my dopamine rush. That is how you kind of do it regarding the behavior. So let's fly to Las Vegas. Do you think that in that city it happens a lot of unexpected surprises? Basically, right? It happens all the time. So let's go to the slot machines. People are standing hour, day, just, pressing those handles and wanting to have the unexpected surprise. So what happens when you have 4 cherries? Does the machine become silent? No. It sounds a lot, and it blinks. And also a lot of money comes down on a metal platter. Do you think the metal platter is there by coincidence? No. It shall stimulate our senses to the maximum. So it will be like a carnival for our reward center of the brain. So basically, if we've won money, do we take that money, put it in the bucket, and cash out and live happily ever after? Do we do that? No, we don't, right? We leave it on the metal plate, we take the quarter and press the handle again and again and again. Why? Because we want to have the next unexpected, surprise. That is what causes the dopamine. And also it's the same thing when it comes to mobile phones and social media and video games. All of the unexpected things. Let's say I go into Facebook or Instagram. I haven't been there for 2 hours. Boom, 50 likes. A lot of comments. I did not expect that. And also the email sound or a SMS sound. But let's say I get an SMS sound from my mobile phone. Bling. That sound in itself tells my brain that I will give the dopamine rush. But if I look at the text message, it could be a partner who yells at me. It doesn't matter because it's the sound in itself that tells the brain you have a surprise coming up. So that is what kind of motivates us also to change our behaviors. So when it comes to multitasking, before, do you remember when managements want to hire somebody, they said, are you the employee that can do many things at the same time? Then you are the one for us. We want to hire you. Can you multitask? But today we know better. We know that actually multitasking is not something that is so good. All the brain scientists will say the same. It's like pure mathematics. If we do 4 things at the same time, we will get 25%. If we do 2 things at the same time, we're going to get 50% of the result. If we do 1 thing and 1 thing only, we will get 100% of the result. Because we cannot divide our brain. It's easy. We cannot do it. Maybe eventually in the future, for sure, because of the evolution, but right now, we cannot. Of course, we can have a very satisfying feeling. I talk to a lot of young people that feel satisfied, that almost feel anxiety of just doing 1 thing and 1 thing only. I'm a digital immigrant. I know Mr. Frazio, he spoke about the Renaissance man. I remember when I had 2 TV channels, and it was boring in the morning. I was standing in the window looking out and memorizing the plates of the car. That's how boring I had, I'm not saying that's a perfect life, but I knew how it was to be bored, to have that patience, to be more tolerant perhaps. But like I said, we cannot divide our attention. I go to companies or school and I say, do you want to have better results? And they all raise their hands. Do you want to do it in a shorter time? Do you want to be less stressed? Everybody say yes. Then I said, well, close everything, just do 1 thing and only that thing. Then you will have 3 benefits. Less stress, better result, and also during less time. They're pretty good things, right? By only single tasking. So the scientists are seeing like the concentration difficulties can appear, hard time making decision because of multitasking, difficult to integrate knowledge, as well as overstimulated with information can also create sleeping problems, showing ADHD symptoms. Not that you have the diagnosis, but you have that symptoms because it's kind of itching if you just do 1 thing and only 1 thing only. And bad sleeping habits can be the result. So how do we act? Well, recharge yourself. We are humans at first. I mean, if we look at it, even Steve Jobs, the creator of the multi-touch, even he was pretty low tech savvy. Even he had very strict rules how to use technology in his own house. And he was a visionary. And even in Silicon Valley, they are trending to have people like me also helping to find solutions regarding digital stress. So, like founders of Google or Wikipedia or Amazon, they are taking their own children and putting them into, Waldorf schools or Montessori schools that has quite little technology. So when you're very young, of course, three things are very important. When do you introduce technology, how much, and what is the content? So recharge ourselves is important. Sleeping is important. To rest our nervous system, to be more focused, to have better concentration. So how do we increase focus? We have a saying called pay attention to your attention. For instance, like the psychological hooks, like you also were talking about. Like sometimes we don't decide, It's like when I'm on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and I want to update my information and I pull down to see new information. Like he said, it takes 2 seconds to get the new information. And it's not a coincidence. It's nothing wrong with your Wi-Fi. It is actually created to delay a couple of seconds just for you to feel excited. Like, oh my God, in 2 seconds I'm gonna get this new information, these new YouTube videos, these new friends that I have probably posted something amazing. And it keeps me there all the time. And also, if I write a message, say for instance, I write a message to you. If you look at the message, I will know that you have looked. That creates you a pressure because you know that I've seen your message. Therefore, the system wants you to answer as soon as possible. And also Snapchats, for instance, they have different type of system that wants to keep you engaged all the time. And let's not speak about video games. I'm a gamer myself. My son is actually a professional gamer. But he also trains, he sleeps good, don't worry. He has a good thing with the balance, but he has a passion. Just imagine to have a father working with this, right? But he knows that I love gaming as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to video gaming, it's also very tough sometimes for some kids. Okay. So single tasking, like I said before, we want to emphasize the thing about just doing one thing at the same time. We don't need to do 4 things at the same time. I mean, if you do, it's your choice. But if you want better results, and if you want to activate the long-term memory instead of the short-term memory. So I'm just going to talk about that briefly. Short-term memory is something that we activate today a lot because of the fact that our attention is not 100%. So if I want to have attention of something that I'm working with, I got an SMS, I'm taking up my phone, and my SMS will get my attention. Now, when I leave my SMS or my phone on the side, for me to have full focus on my working task, it will take me 24 minutes to change focus, 100%. Of course, you can get some attention, but to get 100% attention, it takes 24 minutes. Triggers. Certain situations when you're bored or listening to a lecture perhaps can trigger a behavior of perhaps watching your phones. But you don't have your phones on you, right? So you can't do that. But let's just take up our phone. We can take up our phones and give it back to the rightful owner. So, if you got your phone back, we're not finished yet. We have a couple of minutes. So just put your phone on the side so it's not visible. So, a half an hour, how was it? How many felt a little anxious? Someone? No, of course not. Helsinki, you're perfect, right? How many felt it was kind of good? Kind of, it's okay. Yeah? Great. So listen, when I do this to students, first of all, 20% don't want to leave their phone. They're still carrying their phone. They don't want to leave it away. That's 20%. And then when we ask, like, how did it feel? Some people actually feel the nomophobia and the FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. Like, they really felt, certain panic, stressed, like they didn't have control. So it's a kind of good test. It was a short one, but just, want to try it out. Okay, just be honest. How many, when you got your phones back, pressed on the screen to see if you missed something? Be honest. A couple. Just to, we have a certain type of patterns and behaviors now because of technology. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just telling you how it is. Okay. I would like to kind of summarize and give you a type of a 7 days challenge. It starts from Monday to Sunday. It starts off a little bit simple, and then it goes a little bit more difficult as we go along. So let's say Monday. Stop following people who is not your real friends. Unregister unwanted emails and take away apps and programs that you don't want. It's like a feng shui, just to kind of clean up our desktops or our mobile phones. And that's pretty easy, no? And then Tuesday, just turn off your push notifications. Go into every separate app and just take it all off. If it's not really necessary or if it's work-wise, of course. We have to respect that. Wednesday, when you wake up, try to resist looking at your phone for the first time. For the first hour, I mean. Just the first hour. That's it. Just turn off the alarm clock and then step away. And then Thursday, put up a docking station outside your bedroom and don't interact with your smartphone at least 1 hour before bedtime. Sleeping scientists always say, like, at least turn off your phone 1 hour before going to bed because of the dopamine stimulation and also the blue light that actually engages a certain type of the brain that doesn't want us to go to sleep. So maybe you can try to do that on Thursday. And then Friday, go out and eat dinner. Leave your phone at home. A little bit more difficult. It doesn't have to be dinner. It's a party. It's a cinema, whatever. But try to do that. And if you got kids, tell them that you're going to do an experiment just for one evening. That's it. It's not for life. And then on Saturday, avoid looking at your social media and send messages. So you can use your phone, but not the social media on Saturday. And now, drum rolls, the worst of them all. Sunday, turn off your phone for the whole day, morning to evening. Just see how that feels. And also, I could just give you another one. It's called the mobile pile. Every time you are out eating dinner or socializing, having coffee or something, if you're in a group or with some family members or people, you can all, when you sit down, pull up your phones, put it in the middle of the table with the display down, okay? And now the exercise starts. Now, the first one that takes the phone will pay for everybody's bills, okay? But if you didn't take your phone, if nobody did, and afterwards, if you've eaten or having that coffee, you can just pay your own bill. That's it. And the exercise ends when everybody's enjoyed their company, their presence. So that's kind of an exercise you can try out if you want. Oh, here it is. I didn't think I got it. So I actually think that's it. And just to summarize, I'm a firm believer that we should go forward with technology because today we've seen how many wonderful opportunities technology can give us, but we also should kind of look at how we can minimize the risks. That's all. So thank you for allowing me to share, and I hope you had a great day. Actually, for today, my key takeaways is actually that technology is something that is amazing. We see so many experts and professionals talking about different types of topics and subjects that could enhance our lives and people's health, and that is really important. And also with my subject, to kind of minimize the risks. So, yeah, I think that's it. And of course, if you need a taxi, the event reception is happy to help you. And we will send a short survey today, followed by all the presentation material. Remember to answer it, it's important. And also, I hope to see you next year, because it's reoccurring. So please come next year as well. And thank you all for being with us and making this event a spectacular 2 days thing. Thank you so much.